Hi guys. So it is, what day is it actually? Wednesday. So I hope you all had a good work day, and we're going to do another yoga flow, and I feel like focusing on back bending because I'm sitting a lot. So that kind of opens and straightens up the spine and gets all those knick-knacks, tensions out, etc. So, as always, if you don't feel well, feel free to rest your body and relax. Take that time to recover. And for beginners, I'm definitely going to focus on making it super, super slow, and tons of explanations are going to come. So it's very beginner friendly. And also always, if anything hurts, especially joints, never push. Yoga is not about pushing. Yoga is about doing everything with ease. Obviously, there's a bit of physical effort involved. But never strain. The strength is going to build up anyway over time. So yeah, let's start at the front of the mat with a couple of sun salutations done. I see 2 people are connected. So I hope you enjoy. So we're coming to the front of our mat, and my shirt is very bright. Cool. I'm bringing our hands together and inhaling and exhaling here, focusing on standing super straight. And then on the next inhalation, we're raising our arms next to our ears and looking upward, really stretching away those fingertips. And on the exhale, we're going to fall down from our hips and keeping our back straight, gazing forward as long as we can. And then we'll raise halfway, so back is straight again. And on the exhale, we're stepping our right foot back into a low lunge, slowly lowering the knee down and looking up in order to really open the hip flexors here. Very nice. On the inhale, we're going back up into a low lunge. And on the exhale, we're pressing back into a plank position, looking forward, keeping a straight body. On the inhale, we're lowering our knees. Feel free to use a pillow if that hurts you as well. And then bringing our elbows into the sides, so not like a regular push-up, but bringing them into the sides. On the exhale, we're lowering our chest and our chin. And that's already a slight back bend in there. And then on the inhale, we lower entirely and raise our upper body via our back muscles, and then look up. On the exhale, we push into a plank, so either via your knees or just straight away. And pull back into a downward facing dog. Engage your thighs here and keep your arms straight and your knees straight. Don't worry if your hamstrings are tight and your heels are not on the floor. That is normal at the start. On the inhale, we'll roll forward and bring our right foot between our hands to a low lunge. We'll lower our left knee down, flip our foot and look up for the second hip flexor. On the inhale, we bring it back into a low lunge, and on the exhale, we'll step forward into a forward fold. Last inhalation, we're reversing it and pulling up again, looking up, and exhale, bringing the hands down to in front of our chest. And then next inhalation and exhalation is done in place. We'll ground ourselves again. And then inhale, arms up again, look up. Exhale, fold down, look forward. Inhale, halfway, raise your upper body. And now second side, step back with the left leg into a low lunge. Lower your knee, look up. Very nice. Inhale, bring your knee up again. Exhale, step it back into a plank. Inhale, lower your knees. Exhale, bring your chest and chin down, look forward. Inhale, lower entirely, or at the same time, pull your upper body up. So it's not necessary to first lower and then pull your upper body up. You can also go from here directly into this, wherever you feel comfortable with. So look up, cobra pose. Keep your toes flat on the floor. And then exhale, push up into a plank position and pull back into down dog. Inhale, roll forward. Step the left foot between your hands, or as close as you get. Lower your knee down, look up. And then exhale, bring your knee up. Step forward, fold. Inhale, look forward and draw back up. Look up and exhale, hands down, relax. So that was one entire sun salutation. There's a couple of different variations of sun salutations. The one I'm doing is from Hatha Yoga, which is a very old form of yoga. Also for the next round, I'm going to demonstrate a different type of sun salutations, just to mix it up a bit. You don't always have to necessarily step into a low lunge. You can also jump back into a plank, or just skip the part where you lower your knee. That is one adjustment. And then the other one is, instead of lowering chest and chin, you can either lower completely to the floor directly in a straight line and then pull up into a cobra, or you can do something that is called a chaturanga, which is basically a push-up hold that looks like this from the side. So you're basically going from a plank into a push-up hold, and then we're going into something that's called upward facing dog, and that's the counter pose to downward facing dog. So I'm just going to demonstrate that. You can do it along with me, or you can watch me, and then we're going to do a couple of those together just to warm ourselves up. Nice. So hands in front of our chest. We're doing an inhale here, and we're exhaling. On the next inhalation, we're bringing our arms back up again. On the exhalation, we're lowering down, forward fold. Inhalation, we're doing a halfway lift. And then if you want and if you feel safe, on the exhalation, you jump back into a plank and then lower halfway, hold, flip your feet and press up. And here it is important to engage your glutes. That's going to protect the lower spine. If you don't, they're going to sag through, and that might actually cause some pain. So focus on engaging your glutes. Also lift your kneecaps off the floor, so you're basically balancing on the top of your feet and your arms. And then push your shoulders down, so not like here. Push them back and down. Really open the chest up front, and then look up. So that's going to stretch the entire forefront of your body. Very nice. So that was one inhalation technically. And now from here, with the exhalation, we're going. So you can either flip your feet now onto your toes, or you can do it while pulling back. So from here, we're flipping feet, pulling back into a downward facing position. And it doesn't really matter if you keep your feet together or hip width apart, whichever way is more comfortable with you. Very nice. And then, because we jump back, we're also going to jump forward. So on the inhalation, we'll look forward, we'll bend our knees slightly, and then we do a small hop, where we inhale and hop forward. And focus on bending the knee. Never hop with like a straight legs, because that might actually hurt your joints. Very nice. So we're back in a forward fold. And as you can see, I can't jump yet between my hands. So anywhere along the mat that you can reach is fine. Don't worry about that, it's all practice. So from the forward fold, on the next inhalation, we'll just raise our arms and upper body to standing position. And on the exhalation, we're bringing our hands down again. Very good. So I hope that's understood. I can't read the comments, but feel free to drop any questions in there. I'll just integrate that in my practice and in the classes in the coming days. So we're going to do, also if you're not comfortable with jumping back, you can also from a forward fold just step it back into a plank, just in one breath. But I'll explain that in the next round. So we're going to do at least 5 of them. And I'm going to provide less explanation, so obviously it's going to be a slightly faster pace, so I hope that's fine with you. And yeah, feel free to do any kind of necessary adjustments and make it your practice. You don't have to mirror me, it's going to be your thing as well. Very cool. So, front of the mat, hands together, inhale and exhale. And inhale, arms up, look up, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, step back into a plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, engage your glutes. Exhale, hold back into a downward facing dog. Adjust your feet if necessary. And inhale, look forward, bend your knees, do a tiny hop. Come forward, bend down again, and inhale, lift up into a standing pose. Exhale, hands down. Inhale and exhale completely. Let me adjust this. Inhale, raise your arms. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, jump back into Chaturanga. Inhale, push up into a downward facing dog. And exhale, hold back in upward facing dog and then pull back into downward facing dog, obviously. And then inhale, tiptoes, bend your knee, look forward. Jump forward, bend again, and inhale, come up with a straight back, look up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale and exhale here. Inhale, come up, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. If you want, you can do exhale, step back into a plank. And Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Very nice. Inhale, look forward, bend your knee. And do a slight hop. Bend again. And inhale, come up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale and exhale here. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, jump or step back into plank and Chaturanga. And you can also use the intermediate step, just lowering to the floor and then pushing back up into a downward facing dog. Upward, sorry. Getting confused with directions. And exhale, push back into downward dog. Hold here. Really elongate the spine. Inhale, look front, bend your legs, jump front, and inhale, lift up, exhale, hands down, inhale and exhale here, inhale, arms up, look up, exhale, fold forward, and then inhale, halfway lift, exhale, step or jump back, chaturanga, inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog, inhale, look forward, tiptoe, jump, bend again, exhale, inhale, come up, exhale, hands down, and relax. Very nice. So those are the classic Ashtanga sun salutations. So there's even a couple of variations with them. You can also always between upper dog and downward facing dog, you can build in one more chaturanga to really get your arms built up. So there's endless possibilities to this. So just use whatever is right for you at the moment, and don't let yourself be like forced into anything that you're not comfortable with. Very good. So we're gonna continue with our practice, and we're coming to the front of our mat and inhaling and exhaling here. On the next inhalation, bringing our arms up. And we're already focusing on the back bend here, but just slightly overarching here, especially in the upper back. And then if you want, you can release your neck to the back and look to the wall behind you. And then exhale, fold from your hips down. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, step into a plank. Look forward, hold this for a bit. And then exhale, lower to the ground completely. And now we're doing a couple of cobra poses, which really focus on upper, mid and lower back, depending on how you do them. So I'm going to build it up from a baby cobra. So baby cobra is basically just lifting the upper back off the floor. So we're starting with our forehead on the floor and our hands underneath our shoulders. Then we're really pressing our hips and thighs and feet into the ground, because that's what's going to keep us grounded as well. And from here, without using our hands, we're lifting our chest off the floor, and then we're rotating our shoulders up and back to engage our mid back as well. And then if you want, you can look up. So that's what we're doing in a sun salutation already. And that's a smaller baby cobra. Then we're holding this. Try not letting your feet wander out too much. So keep them close together as well. And then you can really feel it here if you hold it a bit longer. If you're not feeling it, you're using your hands too much. Try lifting your hands. Very good. And then we're relaxing. Down on an exhalation. Now we're doing a bigger cobra. So we're wandering our hands just slightly a bit forward from where they were. We're opening our legs a bit. We're focusing on really rotating the hip into the floor. Really engaging the glutes. And then same principle, building up from here. We're lifting our chest. We're keeping our shoulders back and down. And we're slightly, very slightly pushing into our hands. And this is also like a bigger cobra already. And we're looking up. And you should really feel this in your back by now. Very nice. And we're exhaling down. And now we're coming to the biggest cobra, which is definitely giving the lower spine more flexibility. We're pushing our hands a bit farther forward than they were. Feel free to open up your legs more if you want, but you can also keep them on the mat or just slightly next to it. And then same as always, we're lifting up from here, but we're pushing a bit more into the mat. So you should come close to a 90-degree angle. And shoulders down as always. Try to keep your elbows instead of outside, keep them in. And then we're looking up again. So because you're using your hands here more, there is less actual muscle engagement and more just making the spine flexible, lengthening the front, the muscles in the front. Very nice. From here, we're looking over our right shoulder to the back. Like, see if you can try looking at the left leg here. Very nice. We're inhaling, looking front. We're exhaling, looking to the other side. And try looking at our right leg. Yes, we're looking forward. And on the exhale, we're coming down very slowly. Very nice. So, what's next is called locust pose. And it's going to look a bit funky at first, but it's actually very much fun once you get used to how it looks and how it feels. And because cobra is for the upper body, locust is basically to open up the lower body to get the full back bend started, basically. So, same position. Oh no, let's do our chin to the floor and then hands underneath your thighs, palms facing up. And we're closing our legs and then we're lifting the left leg off the floor in a straight fashion. Lifting it up, the hip is going to lift up as well. Then we're bending our right knee and placing our right foot basically on our upper left thigh or on your knee or on your shin, depending on how high your leg is. And then we're placing our chin on the floor again and focusing on maintaining that balance here and also on actively raising the leg more. That's gonna stretch your hip flexors, but it's also gonna engage the whole of your back leg, your glutes, your lower back. Very nice. On the inhale, we're lifting it up higher, and on the exhale, we're leaving it to the floor. Now switch sides. Inhale, right leg lifts straight, left leg is being placed on your right upper thigh or knee. And then hold here, actively engage your right leg, and you can kind of choose how you want to keep your arms, if you need them a bit further out for balance or if you can keep them closer to your body. So depending on the stage you're in. Very nice. Next inhale, we're lifting it up higher, and exhale, releasing it to the floor. So that was the half locust, because we did the legs separately. Now we're basically going to do them together with no support of the other leg. So we're lifting both of our legs simultaneously. Obviously they're not, for me at least, I'm not sure about you, for me they're not lifting up as high as with the half locust. So just see how far you can get. So same hand position. If you want, you can also make a fist and place it underneath your thighs, because that's going to help with strength. You can start raising your hips a bit, pressing your hands down, and then chin. So the important thing is to maintain the chin on the floor, because that's what's going to build up the lower body strength. Because otherwise, if you lift up your upper body as well, it's going to focus more on your back and not your legs and glutes. So chin on the floor, engage your legs, and then lift them up on the inhale and hold. Chin back on the floor, legs straight and together. And exhale down. Inhale, second round. Inhale up. And exhale down. So yes, that was locust. And that's the most frustrating pose I've had in years. Because I don't seem to develop into any kind of direction. But yeah, practice makes perfect, I heard. So, because we've had upper body and lower body, and now we're combining them into something that's called a bow pose, which does the entire back bend. So, we're starting out here, obviously. We're bending our knees so that our feet are facing up. Now we're grabbing one ankle each with our hands, or one foot, depending on how you prefer that. Very good. Now we're coming back down with our forehead to the floor, and then on the inhalation, we're lifting our forehead, we're lifting our upper back, like our chest comes off the floor, and then we're pushing into our legs and engaging our glutes so that our upper thighs lift up off the floor as well. And then the more your back opens in this, the more flexible you become, the higher you lift up, and eventually you're just maintaining a balance on your hip joints, on your hip bones. And then you look up. For people that are extremely flexible, they can also do the whole reverse thing and just go with your arms over the top of your head. But that's going to take an extreme amount of practice. So, hold here, 2 more breaths. And exhale. Release, slow down. From here, pressing into a child's position as a counter pose to round our backs. So if you keep your knees together here, it's going to create pressure on your abdominal muscles, also on your organs, and it's going to impair your breathing a bit, which can slow it down, and it's said to relieve a bit of anxiety and stress. So it's definitely a very calming position. It's also why it's called child's pose, because kids sleep a lot, I'm not sure. But you can stay here and just relax for a couple of seconds. Nice. On the inhale, come back up into a tabletop. You can widen your legs a bit so that knees are underneath your hips. And then from here, just to loosen our spine up, we're going to do a couple of cat and cow poses. So on the inhale, we're dropping our belly down and looking up, really, really stretching our neck upward. And on the exhale, we're bringing our belly in, looking down and rounding our back as much as possible. And inhale, reverse again. Really arch your back, look up. And exhale, look down, round your back. Inhale, look up, arch your back. Exhale, look down, round your back. One more. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. And you can come to a sitting position from here. And slowly lower your back to the ground. And we're doing something that is called waterfall pose. So we're lifting our legs on an inhale, 90 degrees up, keeping them straight. You can see if you want to point your toes or pull them in, whatever is more comfortable on your back. And then we're holding this here. So that's going to drain all the fluids out from your legs, especially if you've been sitting all day. It's going to strengthen the hip flexors, holding the legs up. It's also slightly opening up your hamstrings. And then if you have any kind of imbalances in your legs or your hips, it's going to make the legs, because of gravity, it's going to make them sink back into the hip joints very nicely. Not because of one time, but if you do it regularly, obviously. Very nice. Now we're bending our knees, folding them in, and on an exhale, grabbing our knees, pull them in tightly, head to the forehead to the knees, and exhale, inhale in between, and then exhale. We're going into Shavasana, and feel free to stay as long as you need. And really sink into the floor. Relax all your muscles. Relax your eyes. And focus on your breathing. slowly start becoming aware of your body again. Start breathing more deeply. And then move your joints one by one. Stretch your arms above your head. Give yourself a full stretch. And turn to your right. And slowly push yourself up with your hands into a sitting position. Cross your legs. On the inhale, bring your hands into a prayer position. And on the exhale, fold forward as much as you can. Inhale, come up. And Namasté. Hope you liked it. Give me some feedback, share, like, anything you want. Or come back tomorrow, which will be even cooler. I see a couple of people are still connected. Very nice. So yeah, I hope you have a good evening, and I hope this helps you if you stay home. I hope this helps you with calming you down. I know these are very stressful and anxious times, so I'm trying to give you some kind of value, and yeah, because it helps me a lot as well. Yeah, have a good night. Bye.